Hello and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth today. Today's video is going to be on Hadraniel, the Angel of Love. Now, before we get into it, I do recognise, because it becomes very repetitive for myself as well, that I do repeat information regularly within the welcome, the introduction, and also when we're talking about the hierarchy, which we will be talking about in a little while. Now, I understand if you get bored with it, it's a little boring for me too. So I do put chapters and timing into the description so that you can skip the parts that don't interest you. I will actually remind you, though, that sometimes I do go off on a bit of a tangent when I'm talking about the angelic hierarchy. So that's not always going to be word for word, as to the previous videos when I'm talking about hierarchy. So if you're interested in that, I would say, listen to it. Usually it's not too long. You'll be able to tell, though, if it's a longer chapter than normal, this is for the repeat viewers, you will know that I've actually gone off topic, and I will be sharing a personal experience within that chapter, and potentially even some extra information. So that's just a little bit of insight. Now, obviously, before I get into the video today, I just want to remind people that if you like the content, please do click like. If you're happy and you're wanting to see more stuff, feel free to subscribe. I really enjoyed it. It's very rewarding to me when I see that people are actually enjoying the content. You're invited, obviously, to make your own comments, share your thoughts, your views, and this kind of thing. I always do read them. I do try to comment back or respond to them. Sometimes if there's a question or something that I think the person might be interested in, I will actually respond to it on the Sunday yarning video, but I will make a comment if that's to you, letting you know I'm going to respond to it in greater depth on the Sunday. What else can I tell you? Just that from my perspective, the really big deals for awakening for me, as far as developing my divine connection goes, was obviously doing Reiki, doing the attunements, learning about spirit and how we can contact them, just learning some strategy. But when it comes to the angel content, this was the kind of stuff that really started to show me my divine blueprint, as did working out the numerology for myself, my family, my children, my extended family. All of this kind of stuff is extremely revealing. And within that, of course, I've got the different playlists that I put up for you to view at your leisure. I might look at, actually, I'll save what I was going to say. I'll save that until the Sunday yarning this Sunday, because I'm thinking about how I will adjust and adapt the playlist to make it easier for you. But without any further ado, let's get into the subject that you're wanting to know about today, which is Hadraniel and love. So when we talk about Hadraniel, we're talking about an angel of the first order heart angel order. We'll talk about that in a moment. And her goals of creation are to awaken your memory of love and what love feels like, okay? Because the bottom line is, sometimes people have been living in ways that are so isolated, so alone, so separated, that they've actually forgotten what love feels like, because they haven't experienced it for a long time. But it's more than knowing what love feels like. It's this awakening to the memory of divine love, which is so incredible and amazing when you actually feel it, that it's like nothing you could ever imagined being possible. It's a vital ascension attitude, of course. And when we talk about ascension, we're talking about the capacity to raise our vibration, build that divine connection, strengthen it, bring more light into our aura, speed up our vibration, all of this kind of thing. Now, eternal love alone does satisfy the needs of the soul, and Hadraniel's mission is, as I say, to awaken you to the memory of this and to heal unloving attitudes. I would take it a little further in as far as, based on my experience, that this idea of love, when we talk about it, it's just it just goes beyond description. Once we make that connection, once we feel it and we realize that it's real, that it's true, when this message is, it can satisfy the spirit alone, it actually is so incredible that when we know that we have this love around us, we also know that we can survive any obstacles that are put in our pathway. And that old saying of no man is an island and everybody needs to have a partner or whatever. If you have that divine connection of love, you actually can feel that you can survive and walk your path as an individual without having a divine partner. I mean, ideally, everybody wants to have a divine partner, that healthy ideal, but they're not prepared to compromise or sacrifice themselves in the process of having a partnership that is less than divine, I guess is the best way of explaining it. The divine partnership with the Creator is the one that is all encompassing, I guess. So, when we talk about first order heart angels, of course, we're talking about the hierarchy of angels. Just revisiting, we're not talking about one line of angels, if you like, being superior to the other types of angels. They all are above having ego and a desire to feel better or superior. They all have specific tasks, and this is where the orders are related to. And I do have a video up about the angelic hierarchy to explain this in more detail. But either way, the first order angels, they receive the divine idea, the vision of the Creator, and they project it outwards. We're talking, as I say, generally within this order, they all have specific tasks as well. So, a little bit more information about them is that they are somewhat smaller than archangels, and as a group, their mission is to foster the loving connections between people and also with the Creator and with the angels. Now, if you are able to develop your clairvoyant gifts, you may see them in a shower of light. With the light glowing from their heart chakra, shall we say, up towards their faces. They've got very bright auras. And when they talk about the partnership type stuff, we're talking about being individuals within partnerships. It's okay to be different. We don't all have to be the same. So they carry an energy with a really deep desire of caring for other people, for others in general, and they combine this caring energy with a really deep sense of gratitude. The other point that I want to make is often you will see people talking about angels and being held in a loving embrace or enfolded in angel wings and things like this. In the case or the instance of the first order heart angels, they are said to be distinguished from the other orders because if you do see them, you will see that their arms are outstretched towards, reaching out towards you to hold you. There was something else I wanted to mention about this. Oh, just a reminder that while I'm referring to Hadraniel with this video, that Hadraniel I am referring to as a she. I've given her a gender of being a female, but the bottom line is Hadraniel and the other first order heart angels, they can manifest as either male or female, and it will be what you are comfortable with as well. So if you're thinking about the angel Hadraniel and it feels like it should be a man to you, well then follow your gut instinct because that's the key factor with connection. You have to be comfortable, and there's no right or wrong with this, okay? Because angels do not have gender. They don't need to have gender. They don't procreate. So when we talk about love and the Ascension Attitudes, we're talking about the aspects of gratitude that actually open us up to be able to receive this love. But I would present, from my perspective, it's a bit like the chicken and the egg kind of scenario. What comes first? I'm not sure that gratitude does come first and that this is what paves the way to love. Sometimes I think and feel that, life can be challenging for us. I'm not even going to try and tell people what they should think in regard to this. I'm just going to say that there is a place here when we talk about the Ascension Attitudes. The love is about this really deep love. It's like you feel it in your heart chakra. You can actually feel it energetically and physically to expand. So when we feel this divine love, and I will put up guided meditations and strategies and techniques to help you to become more aware of the physiological sensations. at some point in time. Once we feel this love, it leads automatically, I believe, to a sense of surrender because and gratitude. Okay, because when you are truly, truly loved, it's impossible not to love that person back, especially when there's no um I'm just trying to think. When you feel the divine love, it doesn't feel like there's conditions and strings put upon it. It's totally accepting and loving and compassionate. And even though you or I, we might feel that we're flawed human beings and all the rest of it, the energy of this divine love is one that basically says, yeah, okay, you have what you believe to be flaws, but the bottom line is we are human and we're not expected to be perfect at all times. These things that you and I might consider to be flaws, they are examples of us growing, shall we say, and learning, because we're all students of life. So there's a forgiveness aspect of this divine love that is just completely overwhelming when you feel it, to be so loved, so adored by the divine and by the angels that we automatically, I feel, as a response, we do go into this stage or state of surrender, which is like, oh my God, really not my will, your will. That becomes surrender. I choose to live aligned with divine will. And you just, this gratitude then becomes overwhelming as well, because you just feel so privileged, so blessed to be able to experience this love of the divine. And we become grateful for everything, even the challenges. We might, I'll be honest, I've had a few challenges in my life, and some of them I think, did I really need to go through that? Hopefully I've learned that lesson and I'm not going to repeat it. But we still become grateful for the blessings seen and unseen, because we know underneath whatever challenges we experience or face, there is some form of growth, but sometimes it takes a passage of time before it's revealed to us. So her messages offer basically understanding and insights into the duality of life and the influence of fear on us as humans, the mere mortals. Now, basically, the predominant feeling among the angels, of course, and when we say predominant, I would say the only actually feeling amongst the angels is this, oh, actually, that's not fair of me, okay? There is this love and adoration that they have of the Creator and for the Creator. And that love of the Creator and their alignment with divine will expands out towards us as human beings, especially when they're trying to awaken us so that we can foster this connection with the Creator again. So basically, we can say that for the angels, their entire sense of purpose is about love. Now, the difference for humans is, as mere mortals, we tend to live not so much with love, but with fear, right? And so her message is one that even when you feel happy, there's always fear, as humans. That's you and me. Even when we feel happy, there's going to be a fear often lurking beneath the surface. And the fears are generally about perceptions of pain, harm, or because life has been pretty cruel. And when we've had a lot of pain, it forms a cage around our heart. And that cage actually blocks us receiving the love of the divine and of the people around us. And it also blocks us from actually giving love to other people. Being able to give and receive love is where that comes from, that saying. There was something else I want to mention here. Oh, yes. I remember years ago, in the early days, reading a comment somewhere, or somebody may have said to me that for human beings, we only have two emotions. We have love and we have fear. Because if you pull back all the other emotions, and of course, I've got videos up on breaking down emotions as far as healing goes. But if you break them back from a higher perspective, from the perspective of universal consciousness, when we break down the heavier feelings such as sorrow and grief, loss, sacrifice, sadness, anger, rage, all of that, it all comes back to fear. So it actually makes sense to me. If you want to know more about how I've unpacked that and made sense of it, feel free to make a comment and I'll respond to it in the Sunday yarning. So going back to the cage that we're talking about that is created through fear, her guidance is go within and ask yourself to establish the cause of the fear so that you can actually release this pain that lies underneath it. The cage, as I said, it blocks this incoming love. It's a barrier that we put up to prevent other people getting close to us so that we don't have to endure the pain of loss again. Often I put that in brackets, it might be a repeat thing, or we've become emotionally numb because we repress our feelings as part of this self-denial and our attempts to survive and function in the world. Now, to remove the bars of this cage, this pain has got to be released. And this includes crying, sobbing our heart out if we need to, over the pain of life, And sometimes you'll find as you heal that it's not necessarily about sobbing. Sometimes it will be. Sometimes it's just that gentle release of you think of something that happened in the past and you might find the tears rolling down your face. And then you recognize I've still got sadness attached to that situation. And so that becomes an opportunity to heal that pain and trauma, if you like. Now, the other point that she makes is when we're able to feel deeply enough, the heart can do what feels like a break or a split. This is if we've had a lot of pain and trauma, it kind of splits. And in fact, I would go as far as saying I've heard Indigenous people refer to the fact that there's no such thing. I'm talking about Australian Indigenous. They don't culturally believe that there's such a thing as mental illness. They believe that their spirit has been broken. Now, this is what can happen when there is all of this pain and trauma. But what happens is as we release, as it splits, these are actually precious moments for us to strengthen the divine connection that we have. And this is how we remain well and healthy, is in those moments where you're feeling like you're being torn apart in pain and suffering. Instead of focusing on that pain and suffering, instead turn your eyes to the Creator, turn it onto the love of the Creator. These are actually sacred moments. They're sacred opportunities for growth and to connect to the higher powers. Now, I'm going to read these notes more so than talk through them. I might take a tangent. That's me. That's what I do. But I think to do fullness or justice to the message here, I actually need to refer back to my notes, okay? Which is, as you allow the pain to be released and you've got the courage and a really passionate, burning desire to find your connection to the Creator, you're going to be able to transform the pain of this past events and incidents and that kind of stuff into a level of ecstasy with this deep consuming love that's on the other side. Now, it is actually indescribably deep and extremely beautiful. And this is where I struggle, I think, to attempt to articulate to you guys if you haven't actually felt it yet. And you will be able to feel it, have no doubt about that, what it actually feels like. Other people may be prepared to share how they would describe it. But either way, it does create this connection, the divine connection, where you're able to receive this transformational healing energy, the light. And also the thing that the message of Hadraniel is that when you feel this transformational energy, it can be felt physiologically. And I would make the point that the way it's felt is not always the same from person to person. It's similar, they have similarities, but not everybody experiences, anything really the same as the next person. But either way, you can actually feel this transformational energy go through your body, and it's a light. it's like it burns and it sears away all the blocks, anything that is blocking you from receiving the flow of love. Now, the energy may actually be really strong and you might feel like you don't know what to do with it. It might actually even be a bit frightening for you the first time you feel it. However, the recommendation, of course, is don't be afraid of it, because this energy is good and you will know that. Okay, you will know it when you feel it. Because even though you might be a little bit frightened about what's happening, it feels good. Okay, it feels really nice. So sit with it is the advice. Sit with this energy and allow the process to unfold. Keep your thoughts on the Creator, asking to be filled with this divine love to keep you protected, safe, whatever it is that you feel that you need to ask for at that time. And plead, her advice is plead to be filled with the divine love as if your life depends on it. And also, don't be afraid to demand to have divine spirit reveal itself to you, and your divine blueprint and the divine idea, because as you ask, so it will be. Other wisdom that she shares is that love is the greatest source of energy and it is the most powerful, and we achieve it through transforming and converting the power of our emotions. They are all very important. The emotions such as anger, fear, and resentments, when we transform those into love, then we really step into our power. The advice that she gives, though, is if you've got these really strong emotions, do experience them, allow yourselves to experience them. You don't repress them, but release them in a safe place and in privacy as you continue to work through them until they're transformed into love. Now, just a reminder here, because of course I am a social worker by profession, and I do have experience working in the mental health sector. My advice would be, you can work through a lot of this stuff on your own without getting the support of a good therapist or whatever. But I think from my perspective, it actually makes it a bit easier. If you've got a lot of really old stuff, if you're an older person or you've had a lot of pain throughout your life, when you can unpack this in with a qualified person, somebody who encourages you to process them instead of trying to tell you what you should be thinking or doing. I might actually put up a video on that as well, on how to find the perfect therapist. Haha. Right. Well, one that works for you, one that you're comfortable with. But yeah, anyway, to unpack them privately and in a safe place. And that will help open you up to receiving more divine love. I've got a bit of a croaky voice. Sorry about that. So, the blessings of opening your heart to the Creator are obviously many, multiple, and varied. Okay, you'll start to feel liberated, because your fears, they won't be entrapping you anymore. You won't be stuck within them. You'll discover new levels of love, and this includes self-love, self-value, and self-appreciation. You're going to be able to observe improvements in your relationships, because they will develop a far greater depth, even an amazing depth, dependent on the relationship, of course. You will be able to see the love that others have for you, because it will actually come through in their body language. You'll see it in their eyes. You will feel it come from their hearts. You will feel compassion from others towards you, and it's going to well up in your soul. You will feel it in your own core level, and you will also feel the desires, if you like, and have more compassion yourself for those people that you meet on your journey. You're going to have a lot more empathy, is where I'm going, and you will realize just how many people are walking the earth, as a form of angel, if you like. They're servants of the Creator, and you will start to see more of the good people, those that have got their own spiritual connection in place. So her reminder is, look, we all need each other, as we return back to the home, which is, the journey, the great white light in the sky kind of thing. But as we walk this path, we actually need to connect with other people as part of that journey. And basically she just says, look, love is the only thing in the world that matters. And the more love that we can hold, the more love we can magnetically attract towards us as well. So, some good common sense there. So, in a way, the angels are all service workers, okay? They are waiting to be invited and asked to support us. And we can do this through the act of invocation. Now, I've put up an example here, as always, on how you invoke, and that is invoke the Creator first, followed by the angel. And you could really actually let your hair down and run with this. When we talk about love, it could be a case of, asking Hadraniel to motivate you to be a loving servant of the Creator, especially if you're feeling apathetic, or, your head's saying, oh, that sounds like a good idea. I think I want to do that. But your body's going, yeah, maybe tomorrow. Okay, you can actually invoke the Creator and Hadraniel to actually address some of this, I guess, procrastination, if you like, and to solidify the loving connection that you have with Creator. Anything that you feel is appropriate for you where you're at on your journey today. Now, of course, I always remind people to make sure when you do your invocations, as I said, start with Creator before any of the angels, and follow up your invocation with the under grace and in the divine way, because you don't want to be the person that's manipulating energy or anything. You're handing it over to the divine, so you will trust the process. Of course, then we follow up with gratitude. Now, just a reminder, if gratitude is not something that you're used to expressing, if you're one of those people that rarely says thank you, I'm not going to judge you for it, but obviously as a mother, I brought my children up to say thank you. The idea is that if gratitude is not part of your personality or behaviors at the time we're having this video, then you will need to make the effort to develop it until it is heartfelt gratitude and appreciation, okay? And so this is one of the times I say to people, look, it's okay to fake it till you make it, right? Because as you go through this process of verbalizing it, even if you don't really feel grateful, if you just turn around and say, I give thanks, thank you, the first thing is that it's going to sow a seed in your mind where you start to consciously recognize that actually you're not feeling grateful. So then you might start to try and develop your gratitude attitude and start noticing and replacing entitlement with gratitude, shall we say, to the point where it will lead to this pathway where when you say thank you and you're grateful, it's going to be very sincere, it's going to be heartfelt, and there will be no faking. This is why I say it is okay to actually fake it till you make it, because when it comes to gratitude, it's going to develop once you start putting into the effort, and it will be real and sincere. But we've all got to start somewhere, okay? So, my friends, that is it for today. I thank you very much for being part of my journey. If you are a newbie and you stuck in for this long, congratulations, go you. I'm so pleased. If you're a returning visitor, same deal. Thank you very much, go you. You stuck through till the very end. I will love you and leave you for now, though, and I will catch you on the next video. Have a wonderful day, wonderful week. Stay blessed. Bye-bye for now.